All right, so this is Generation Zero. So from the last playthrough I did, um, I know some significant things towards the game that were considered very interesting. Um, I see the ambition of the company itself. However, I strongly, I mean, I know these guys are great at their jobs, based on what I see in the game and how things look and how things play and how things work. However, as we all know, um, a great artwork or a great art piece is not based on what you see and presented in front of you with your eyes. It could look nice, it could look finished, it could look complete, it could look ready to use and accessible. But the devils are in the details, you see. How long can it stand on its own before it wears and tears? Are there little nooks and crannies within the actually object itself that might cause problems for other things within the game? Are there flaws within the design itself from top to bottom that you can see when you first look at it, but if you slowly pan in and you can see them specifically when you pan in? And are there significant problems in the overall value of the game? And is there replay value to the game? All these I'm gonna see if I could focus more on today than the last one. The last one was more a brief overview on my impressions towards the game from an individual standpoint, first coming into the game as a newbie. And this is me after playing like 12 hours into it. So I dived deeper from since the last time. The last time was like 2 hours. So I made sure I spent a good 10 hours, see how things progress in the story. Now, the only major issue with Generation Zero is that the lighting is shitty. Now I went into the game accessibilities to try to do something with lighting by increasing and decreasing hair trigger, but then that's nothing. Um, there for controls for the game itself doesn't have any lighting capabilities. You really have to use your flashlight that you have on you most of the times when it's dark, or increase the resolution of your monitor or your PlayStation in and of itself to see. So you have to go outside the game, increase the resolution of the game through your PlayStation resolution, and then um, also increase the resolution of the monitor you're using. So that's the major drawback for this game. I took 5 points off of it, and I should be at 1.9 right now, or around 2 from when I first started the game. I went back and forth because I kept finding flaws, but a lot of things were good at the same time. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into the game. Everything from this screen right here already addressed in the last playthrough. So what's new in this game that I've learned is that there are certain things that still are a pain in the ass, pretty new. But majority of the things are good and are playing good and are decent and are well. And and I like that. I think it has more good things than it has flaws. And I'll show you those things as I should say I show myself because this is more like an archive video. But anyone who sees it can use it to decide whether they want to purchase this game or not based on my playthrough. So I already described the game as a whole from a visual point of view of what I see and what I interact with. And now I'm doing this one is mostly for gameplay itself. So I increased the volume so I could get at least some understanding of music theme from the game without it drowning out my voice. Make sure I have multiplayer on. But from the multiplayer aspect, I won't be finding a match to join. So from the gameplay, the first thing in the gameplay at the beginning, you could choose to join someone's gameplay. Um, from the very beginning. Like say if you finish all your side quests and you finish all your main quests, you want to continue to play the game, DLC content or all the side missions. Um, you could join someone else's gameplay from the very beginning. Now, what I also realized with regards to this game is you want to fast travel. So fast travel is extremely important in this game because if you go onto your map by placing the center D-pad, you zoom in and out of the map. The map is huge, and then it'll show you your location based on where you are. I'm right here, and then you could press on the map to create a waypoint to indicate where you are or where you want to go. And you can also remove that waypoint. This is incredibly helpful if you're doing multiplayer or even single player, because then you'll be able to see where the hell you need to go, where the hell you need to find, rather than trying to just find it based on what the map is saying or based on what the game in-game identification of a little icon to show you northwest, and then you have a house or a fixture over it, and you follow it based on compass. It's much easier to create your own waypoint and follow that waypoint. So that's a huge plus for me with regards to this game. The fact that you could zoom in and out is also a huge plus for me in this game. Most games they have a standard flat map, and you could just press once to zoom close in and then press again to zoom close out. So it doesn't give you the options to constantly zoom in and out, and it doesn't consider. And see, these are games that are made by so-called gamers or people who don't understand too much about games. Like based on visuality, a person can see so far if they have bad eyesight. A person who has good eyesight do not need to zoom in as much. So you have to consider the level of visual proficiency a person can have. So if you just have two type of zoom, one your flat map and two when you press zoom button, boom, you're all zoom all the way in. That might be annoying because now you can't actually see at a certain perspective where a location is because it's zoomed too close or it's too far or it's right in the middle. So you're forcing your players to see from a distance. That's not good. And then to look from a distance that's right in the middle, which also is not that good because now you can only see at a middle distance. You can't zoom in closer to see what's at that location at that middle distance. Like see if you zoom all the way close, you can now see that this is where I am because it's showing a little beacon over it. You won't be able to see that unless if let's say for instance the map was this is the general map. You can't see jack shit, you just see different houses. You scroll over the houses, tell you where places are. Then you have to go to those places. But this is a bigger sandbox type game, so you need more details than that. So if you zoom in, at least close, be able to see the map more and where certain locations are on the map. So let's say for instance you create a map, you create locations on a map, and based on your character building and world building, and you name those locations on your map. Boom, go to name. But you have to have houses and certain things around those houses and fixtures. But you don't name those fixtures, you just name the location where you gotta go on the map. So when players go to those locations named, they see all different things at those locations that they didn't know that was there because you didn't present it carefully or in details. Whereas here, if you zoom in, you can see that this is a location, not just an area where it's the name of a place that you go to a place, and this is like a surrounding area of different stones and building fixtures, like a little miniature colony or something. Basically, it's a little city or something like that, or a little town. Each of these things represent little towns or little town areas where things are built, and then you can see it more clearly. It doesn't really make it that necessary, and there's no difference by going all the way back and identifying it and waypointing. but it makes it more fluid and easier for a person to see where they need to go to. It's not incredibly detailed. You can't zoom that close in to see all the nitty-gritties, but it's not really necessary towards the overall value of the game. And also based on gameplay, because I already went through the whole inventory skills and everything, um, as well as challenges and assignments. Well, I didn't go through challenges and assignments because they're not really important towards the game. Also necessary towards gameplay is your equipment. I went over that briefly and say, can you equip and don't equip? But what I didn't know with regards to equipment is that as attachments, you could attach certain things that make your weapons more efficient by pressing triangle on it. Or you could drop it if you have too much heavy stuff on you. The maximum weight that I could carry is 64 pounds, additional pounds on my body. Or I don't know, anything that weighs over 64, maximum amount of pounds. I guess that's the most that I could carry on my back. I guess I'm a weakling. I can't carry more than 100 pounds of stuff. Or maybe that's not even what that meant. It maybe just meant I could only carry 64 items. Like some Death Stranding thing on my back. But it doesn't show it physically, it's just presenting it in digital format. But what it is basically telling you that if you have too much weight on your character, too much carrying, too many weapons or too many accessories, you become overweight and you can't run. Which is a very interesting mechanic because only a few games do this. Some games you could just keep stocking up on stuff regardless and you don't get weighed down because they have something in those games called magic. And magic allows you to make anything that's heavy becomes extremely light. So you could carry as much as you want in those games, or in more digital games that have to do with technology, you can make something like a gun, or something like an ammo pack, or something like medical supplies, or even gigantic objects like a building structure, fixtures and stuff, miniaturized into like small little pockets of things, and then appear right in front of you once you press on it. You know, like something like from out of Dragon Ball Z, and so you never have to worry about weight, as well as things like in games such as Warframe and stuff, where your guns just pop out of the air based on your attachment. But in Warframe, I say there's a limitations to that as well because you're only allowed to carry certain type of weapons within gun once you select them anyway. So it's not like you could continue to carry stuff on you, but you get the idea. I like the weight mechanics. Also a game that has this feature of weight mechanics is um, Revenant from the Ashes. Carry too much weight on your body, boom, you can't run anymore, whether it's armor or whether it's guns. Another game which I highly recommend, which I could consider as a more superior game to this, based on the fight mechanics and the gameplay and fun factor. So Revenant from the Ashes is a far more superior game to this, but when it comes to like more like inventory management and exploration, this game is better. And attaching things to your weapon. This game also is better. You have more options. I wouldn't say it's more detail, but you have more options. As a more fun world to play and kill monsters, that's a better game. But as a better exploration type game, this is more superior. So the attachments are triangle, and it gives you various different attachments. Once you find it during the in your world searches, you go to different buildings and find the things you attach to your guns, and you can also detach these things as well as tear them apart and recycle them. And what you could do is you could store them and keep them in here. And this box can store doesn't it has an unlimited amount of storage space. I haven't tested how many things I could store in there, but from what I could see, there's an unlimited amount of storage space. Now, when it shows on your icon for where you want to store, it will also show towards the weapon type that that item can go towards or is um, needed for. Or I haven't even decided, I don't know 100% sure yet, or maybe it means that it's attached to this weapon. Like you see this one, the 4-8 X rifle scope is an attachment towards a rifle. Now, no, this is on a rifle. Now I'm going to check the HPS extended magazine and see if that's on the weapon. Because maybe the symbol that's located next to the name means that it's on a weapon. So I don't want to store that if it's showing the symbol next to it. If it was just showing the name of the actual attachment to the weapon, I could see that and then I could store it because that means I don't have the weapon. It needs to attach to it, or I do have the weapon, but I haven't attached it on yet. So I could store that. But these ones, they're showing the symbol of the weapon next to the name of the type of weapon. We'll have to go in and see for myself if it's attached to that weapon. That's why the symbol of the icon of the weapon is actually showing as next to the actual name of the weapon and the attachment. So I'll see that. I'll go to HP5 extended. See, I'll check my HP5 weapon, and I see it says that a magazine is attached to HP5 extended magazine. So once the magazine image shows up next to the actual item itself, it means that item is attached to the weapon. If you see the symbol of the weapon next to the item, see, like the back doesn't have any attachments because it's just a bat, and the holster PP doesn't have any attachments to it. So let's see. Let's check the holster PP. See, I got one holster PP with an attachment and a magazine, and I got another holster PP with an attachment. Now, if I want to remove that, I would have to detach it, but you can't detach it from here. You would have to detach it and disassemble it from a machine. At the moment, I could actually no, I'm wrong. You can press on it and press clear slot, and now it's empty. So you can do it. So I like that as well. I thought I would have to disassemble it. Oh, another fun thing about this game that I found is very nice and very interesting is that you could, if you find extra weapons of the same type, extra items of the same type, you can disassemble those weapons and those items and recycle them so you can get resources for building other things that you want later on. So I am going to do that, but first I am going to continue to do my storage of extra things. You see, it has no attachments to it, so I'll put it in here. This gun also has no attachments on it. This one has 3 different attachments, so I don't want to store that. And 44 Magnus. You can also, before you store an item or store anything, see what that thing is. The damage amount, the firing rate, and you can decide which one you want to keep. See, this has better handling and better firing rate. This has less handling and less firing rate. So if you're coming under a swarm of enemies, this isn't ideal. But if you're fighting 1 or 2 robots, this is ideal. So it's best to keep one of this and one of this. That's what I'll do for my secondaries. And also another cool thing about this game is that you could also go into your storage and whatever you have in your storage, pull that out of your storage, and then it goes right back into your inventory. Like if you find a weapon that you always wanted while you're searching and exploring, but you have their attachments in your storage, you go back into your storage and see if you have the attachment. Now currently I don't have the attachment for a lot of stuff, but some I do. And you could decide to either do it early game, store everything, and just use 1 or 2 weapons. And then in the late game, go into your storage box, take those things out, and then attach them into your weapon. And then after you beat the main quest, do your side quests where you have stronger bosses or stronger enemies. I don't think there are any bosses in the game. They're just super strong, giant looking kaiju type robots that will take you forever to kill. If you're by yourself, in the group, maybe not so much. But yeah, you could do that as well. So I'm just going to store up what I don't need. Go down the list. Fire some weapons. Need all that. Ammo. I think I'll keep all my ammo types. Never know I have 3 types of 12G shotgun, SMG, rifles. Alright, so I need rifle ammo. So I need basically all of this. And I could now decide how I want to store. All these things are based on weight and they'll hold you down, as I said before. So I could decide what I want to store. It's imperative to always have healing abilities, which means if you don't have a healing crate, you should have healing packs, kits. Fireworks aren't really that necessary unless you're going to use fireworks, but they're not that heavy at the same time. But they are 1.6. I try to stay away from anything that's in the 1. If I get something that's into 0, I'm solid. Anything that's in the 1, I try to stay away from unless it's necessary. This is 0, this is fine. These are 1s, and I have 1 of them, so that's fine. This is 0. This is 1, I have 1 of that. I have 1 radio. I have 3 emergency flares. Those are 0s. 0. 0. This is 1. I hardly ever use this. Store that. Binoculars are necessary. 0. But you get the picture. The amount of stuff you have on you will bring you down. It'll weigh you down. If you have too much, it will weigh you down a lot. So now I'm at 55 pounds on my body. And I've been exploring, so I've been finding stuff. So I'll now drop off 1 of those. I'll try to see if I can have 1 of everything. Unless it's a medkit. I will never have 1 of a medkit. I'll keep as many medkits as I possibly can. And grenades. As many grenades and hairpins. So the main thing you want to always have are hairpins for opening things. And grenades, medkits, binoculars. And that's pretty much it. Every now and again you need like a fuel canister on the fuel tank, but the main thing you will need is binoculars for seeing, medkits for healing, grenades to help you destroy stuff faster, knockbits to get you into things that you need to get into, and that's it. Everything else you could find in missions. Oh yes, and a radio, a comm radio. If you find these, never get rid of them and only use them in places that don't have teleporters or don't have safe houses. Each safe house is a fast travel point once you unlock it. Now, if you get to an area where there's no safe point, that's when you use a radio. Then, if you're extremely far from where your last safe point was and you need people to get to your location, you use it. That's if you're in a group as a last resort, because these things they're not, can't pick them back up once you place them back down. So comm radios are very important, but you should use them in in sections. Very very careful when using these. Don't just use them all the time. If you get like 4 or 5 of them, keep them at all times, and don't use them unless they're necessary. They're helpful for fast traveling. They're necessary for fast traveling. but they are not something that you can pick back up, and it's not something that you will find at all times. Very rarely do you find comm devices. So that's it. I'm now at 54 weight. I wanted to get back down to 50, but I want to keep these two weapons. See if I have any attachments to this. None. I don't want to get rid of any of my bullets. These are attached to these. Emergency. I guess I could store. But flares are necessary when I go into dark areas. Oh yeah, flares are kind of necessary because sometimes if you have bad resolution with your computer or whatever, you need a flare to actually see a little bit more bright. Um, yeah, but so far I mean, do I really need a radio? No. I would say maybe one radio. If there are a lot of enemies and you have a grenade or put something, you kill them all at once. Yeah, so everything I have on I need at the moment. So those are, as far as gameplay goes, that's nice thing to have, very important. And what else I could say with regards to the game for gameplay? Storage. I guess in this church there's no. I thought there was a recycle station in this church. Yes, there isn't. Pretty sure there was, but there isn't. It's usually on the base floor. Yeah, so there's none. Um, Storage area. Based on my map, I have to now go to Melon Bunker. Alright, so those are the two things I like about this game. Here's where one of the problems that come towards this game. So I just gave the game a 2.3 based on the three things I spoke on. The zoom in and zoom out of the map, storage capacity and attachments part of the game with regards to inventory. And the third thing would be actually the movement and feel of the game. Does it move smoothly? Does it transition well between moving back and forth between weapons and moving out and in and out of the menu and moving back and forth with the character? Those things run smoothly. Those things are good. So that I'm not at gave the game 3 points. So originally I was 1.9. So now I'm at like 3.9. Well, actually no, more like a 4.9. Let's see what else. Yeah, so I'm at a good 4.9 right now. I was pretty damn sure there was a repair station in here, but I guess there isn't. So the main problem with regards to the game now, since I'm now at a 4.9, is when you're finding certain locations using your main quest log. It says Command Bunker Network. These are the main missions. Side missions, collectibles, stuff you could find along, little things that you could do on the side once you beat the main missions of the game. You have the side missions you could do once you beat the main mission in the game, collectibles you could do once you beat the main mission in the game. And you could decide or not decide to pay attention to tutorials, you can find schematics and so on and so forth. But with regards to missions, regardless of what type of missions, whether side or main, or even collectibles, if you look onto your objectives and it says find Warboard in the Hermelinen, or Hermelinen, I don't know, Hermelian, or however you want to say it, find the Warboy in the Hermelian or Lenin bunker, you would then go onto your map and you zoom out and in. And when you zoom out, you'd be like, what the hell? I can't find anything like that. So you then start going, zooming out and in to find out, well, where Hermelian bunker is. You could literally be spending at least a good 15 to 10 minutes on your map trying to find this damn thing. And it's not like it's lit up or anything, so you could see it once you identify that it's part of the mission. It just tells you various different bunkers you need to go to, and you need to go to each location on your map and find out based on the symbol for bunkers. The bunkers have a symbol that looks like two chairs, as you see within the log. Oh, it doesn't show in the log, but I'll show you. Unknown area. See, these are bunkers, and bunkers are represented by something that look like chairs or double layer beds, or like a little box with a white fixture within the center of that box. So it looks like a little square storage box, like a white storage box with outline, black outline on around the edges. So how you know which bunker to go to, which bunker not to go to? The ridiculous part of this game is that you would then have to scan the entire map to find out exactly what bunker you need to go to. There's no indication as to where the next bunker might be. It doesn't flash up to say, okay, you've completed this amount of bunkers, now you have to go to this bunker. No, you have to find each of those bunkers on your own on the map by yourself, and that takes a lot of time. So the best thing that anyone should do if they want to play this game is go from one area, fixture, and move down that fixture very slowly and gradually to see that you can see the symbol that represents that area. Then you scan over it, keep scanning over it. And this is the annoying part. I'm not a 4.9, but now I'm going to be at a 4 because that's not good. Now, here you go. You have bunkers. You have this bunker, and you have this bunker that's also next to this bunker. This is called the Statoil Naval Bunker. Have we completed that? Yes, we have. Otherwise, it will show Command Bunker Network. This is also an outpost that's part of the bunker. It doesn't show here because we finished that outpost area for that bunker. Now we'll proceed forward, and we already finished this area, and finish here. There were no bunkers here. So this is done. This little area right here is done, and this is done. This island doesn't have a bunker. Now we're on this center one right here. Now you see how that could be annoying. Now this is Squadron Bunker, which is also shown on our map where we have to go to. Now, based on where I've spawned, right here, showing the outline of this area where I'm in, I want to see if I could go to a bunker located within this area first before I go south. So that's what I'm going to do. Sorkin Bunker. Finished. It's not on our objectives list. Now, let's go over here. This one is unknown because it's a bunker. So we're going to go to the unknown bunker. You're going to track this unknown bunker. Now, when you hit on waypoint on the bunker, it would highlight that bunker area that's on your navigation map, saying it shows it here. However, In the heat of battle, that'll be kind of confusing. It doesn't show up around you. It just shows up on your navigation. So the best thing to do is set up your waypoint next to it. Now you can see it. Now you know where to go. Now, for multiplayer, if you're doing multiplayer with regards to this game, you have anyone could join, prefer language English, allow vehicles, yes. So that means the maximum amount of people could join if they decide to join my game. Or you could choose to limit yourself to how many people you want to join your game. Depends on the type of person you are, maybe just one other person to assist you. And you could do that towards the beginning of the game when you first start the game. Press that at 1, exit out, go at the beginning, press 1 other. And then when you go into the game, or from here, multiplayer, you can press invite only or anybody. Now based on, I guess when you had your first settings towards the beginning of the game, you want to join other people's party, and those who you want to join, how many people you want to join, you have a maximum of 3, but if you set it to like 1 join 1 other, and then once you go into your game, I think that settings you have for joining others will be set also for your game. So one other person will be able to join your game. But I'm not completely sure if that's completely accurate, because joining other people's game and people joining your game is something that's totally different. So maybe, yes, maybe maximum amount of people can join your game if you put anybody. It doesn't say clearly. Now, as you see, you see my menus here. See my weapons in the bottom right and bottom left. What I love about this game is that you can remove those things so you don't have to see them at all, but you have muscle memory. And you can go into your whole inventory and choose in your settings for your gameplay to see whether they pop up or not. Always show equipment off. Now you see it's off. Now generally you will have to remember this by yourself. Now when you take always equipment off, you would then have to go and remember it that the gear wheel is up, left, right. Now they're still there. They're all still there. They pop up every now and again, as you see here. It would show you that they're still there, but they're not interrupting your line of sight. You will have to remember it. So it's completely up to you if you want to have it there, but in the heat of battle, like, you might make an accident and pick the wrong thing. So it's a nice inclusion to have it there. If in the heat of battle you make a bad decision and press the wrong thing, it just makes your life easier by doing so. But if you're the type that don't want things to clutter your screen, you want a nice open screen, you could do so right from the game itself and remove that completely. I will put mines back on, and I won't keep it on off, because I actually want to see my equipment to make my life far easier. I have this game on adventure mode because I want to do exploration, but at any moment, at any time, you can increase the difficulty of your game. Guerrilla being the toughest means the enemy be actually fighting like a guerrilla warfare, trying to kill you, like even the smallest of bullets riddle through your armor and you die. So you see those bullets those enemies have, those M16 bullets and stuff? Well, it'll be like actually M16s hitting you, even if you have armor on. Taking about 5 or 6 shots will probably take majority of your health, and then about 10 shots you're dead. Skirmish, some difficulties. But for the moment, I have it on adventure mode. Just want to contain all my objectives in one gameplay, and then as I play, further into the game, I can increase my difficulties based on the needs of the game. Another good inclusion, I would say, with regards to this game is that it has the bike options. This is probably the most annoying, one of the most annoying things in the game, but at the same time, it's also one of the great pleasures of the game because, you see, it's night. I need to have my lights on, but that's not good enough for the light as well. So I need to go in my game and increase the brightness of my game because, like I said, the people who made this game didn't consider brightness a factor. I didn't know why they thought it was nice and fun to do something like this. But it's kind of stupid in my opinion. But regardless of that, the bike is pretty good, and it's necessary. It's necessary for traveling long distance. However, it's kind of shitty for traveling up on hills or in fixed places that are on the streets or even off-road, because this is not an off-road bike. This is just a regular bike. So we're constantly bumping things. You'll constantly fall off. It's just placed there as an additive to increase your movement, since stamina goes away real fast. And it's very helpful and gets you to where you need to get to quite fast. However, you will always bump into things in the night because, once again, the resolution for this game is crappy, so you can't actually see a lot of things. So it's very true to life on certain aspects. I know some people like it, but it's kind of annoying in the gameplay. Now, if you go uphill with a bike, you're not going to go much very far. And even though I'm at a 4.9 with regards to this game, and then I went back down to a 4 because of certain things. See, every time I find something good, there's something bad as well. Your bike, because even though it's true to life and necessary for your game to have these things, you get off because it was wasting your time on your bike. Let me take off this mask. The annoying thing with regards to this game is that your bike cannot teleport to your location. Once you get up a hill, you can't like bring your bike back up to your location. Your bike can only go to a certain area of the game. The game forces you to go around objects, to do the hard way, to do things the hard way, to travel the hard way, rather than just go up and over a hill. It forces you to go all the way around if you want to do things fast, or go up and over a hill, which will take you much longer to get to your location. But if you really think about it, it's kind of like the same thing. You take the long way around your bike. By the time you get to that location, not carrying your bike on foot, by shortcutting it on foot, you will then reach your destination the same way. I see, that's another thing. You have to literally follow the contours, around the contours. Now, they specifically designed this game so that if you use a bike, you will run into enemies on the bike following a smooth path. Because that way you could get into conflict and you won't reach your objective as fast as you need to. So any normal path where you could bike leading to an area will be blocked off by the enemy. Specifically, so you don't get there as quick as you need to, or you won't get to the area. You have to go past the enemies. Now, if I had went straight over the hill, I'd probably be around here by now, near the edge contours of this one. I'm taking a long way around to show you the usefulness of this bike. How pretty much useless it is. Like this bike is only useful when they're open airs and they're not objects in your way. Otherwise, it's pointless. And it forces you away. You could do a shortcut to go right through, to go all the way around here, all the way around here, to get the area. Now I'm taking the longer way around, but maybe I could cut through this farm area and go straight there. Well, I haven't been to this location. Or have I? Yeah, I've been here. Otherwise, it will tell me that I need to find something. Hey, actually, let me go out. Whoa. Now, when you go from a location from a certain distance and then you close in on that location back again, text will pop up on your screen, tell you that you're at that location. See, it didn't pop up before, or it didn't pop up now, but it popped up before. Maybe I'm not far enough. Alright, so I'll go a little further. See what I mean? Visibility is real shitty at night. So having a game where you decide not to include the resolution because you want realism is kind of pissing people off. It's not really good. And then struggling with your bike to get up to a location because it's like riding uphill. It doesn't really work. Alright, so it says the name of the place, but there's nothing here to attain. No collectibles or items, so on and so forth. So I've been to this location. So this device is pretty much useless unless it's on smooth surface. True to life indeed, but in game it becomes an annoyance, kind of stupid. Unless you don't mind annoyance. Alright, so based on the map, I could go straight down this hill and get to there. So now I'm here at this new location. I'll leave my bike at probably at a location where it's easy to access. Well, I'll leave it here. See if I go too further in, I'll be able to climb back out. The bikes are really meant only for smooth surfaces, like stuff like contours or climbing hills and stuff. It's pretty much a useless item. It only helps assist with your travel when you're on smooth surfaces. It's really pointless beyond the point of that. Um, yeah, so that's all I can say with regards to that. So far, the gameplay is smooth. Like I said, I was a 4.9, then went back down to a 4, and the whole bike thing is helpful, very helpful, and is needed for traveling. But at the same time, it's useless beyond a certain point. So this is both a plus and a negative at the same time. So what I would probably go right back up to a 4.9 or a 5 with regards to how helpful the bike is. I'll probably just keep it at a 4 because the bike is helpful, but it's also shitty. It's helpful and shitty. It's like the definition of this game. It's both helpful and a shitty game all at the same time. It's more helpful than it is shitty. You know, only certain things are shitty. More things are. It's more helpful than it's bad. If I was to judge this game right now as a total based on at least 12 hours of gameplay, I would say this is a B average game or B minus game. A B, or if you really like the game, B plus game. This isn't an A game. In any way, shape, or form, this is an A game. It takes a whole lot more than what this game is offered for it to be an A. One, a better use of customization within your main menu is needed, and two, which is the main one, no resolution in game, or hardly any resolution in game to increase the brightness of your game. And the transition from morning to night is more realistic, just like the use of the bike is very more realistic. And the people who made this game wanted everything to seem realistic, so the transition from night to morning is extremely slow. It's probably like every 3 or 4 hours. Every 3 or 4 hours. In fact, it's like every 3 hours. It's night and it's morning. Like most games, the least you would have between transition of night and morning is an hour. Like very fast games, 30 minutes, and those are shitty games. But the standard for transition from night to morning is usually an hour. For games that want things more realistic, they give you 2 hours. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, I believe their day to night cycles every hour and a half or every 2 hours. Or, I think it's like every 2 hours. So you spend an hour during the night. By the time you realize it, an hour has gone by. And by the time the hour and a half marker goes, it's already morning or mid morning. So most high budget games, they put their mark at an hour to an hour and a half when it comes to transitioning from day to night or from 1 hour to 2 hours. This fucking game has its night from 3 freaking hours, like 3 or 4 hours from transition from night to day. So nights are long, like a good 3 hours long. Now that's not good in my book. The most you will want your night cycle and your day cycle to be is 2 hours. One, especially if you have a game where the goddamn resolution cannot be increased so you can see at night from your game, because you're making a game for everyone to play. And if you want everyone to play your game, you have to consider those things. If you're not considering all those things, you're a moron. And the fact that you increase your night cycle to be longer also makes things bad. So the night cycles, even though they're realistic, which is a positive, it's also a negative at the same time. That's why I said the definition of this game is both a positive and negative at the same time. This is a B average to a B minus game. as I'm playing. I'm pretty sure as I do side missions and quests and collectibles, it will go up to a B plus game. So I could see this game being a B plus, but this is definitely not an A game in any shape or form. This is a B plus game. This is a game that has a high replay value if you're interested in this type of game. And if you believe this game has an extremely high replay value because you play with your friends, then you can get up to A minus most. But even then, I doubt it because how many people do play a game or consider your friends to be playing this game? This game is pretty much useless to randos in group settings because randos usually do their own goddamn things. So I would say this is a B plus game. As a standard, this is a B plus game. If you consider replay value, if you consider the interaction with other people as well, if you consider everything I said, like if you take away the multiplayer aspects of this game and keep it single player, this is a B minus game. If you take away the multiplayer access, but if you include multiplayer, this is a B plus game. Now, if you include replay value based on the multiplayer aspects, I could see this becoming an A minus game. But the fact that it has so much flaws, it takes that away from the game as well. So at most, even if it has a higher replay value, its flaws drop it down from being an A plus game to an A minus game. And if there are additional flaws coming on later on within the game, such as finding out the cycles and stuff, I could see this going into a B plus game, B plus to an A minus game. So this is not a this is not an A game. Definitely not an A game. And if you really want to consider an A game, you can make it an A minus at most. But games like Horizon Zero Dawn, those are A games. Games like Destiny 2, those are A games. Games like Call of Duty, those are A games. You know, they understand everything in total. And this game has glitches just like those games and has lags just like those games. And I haven't even, um, and sometimes you can get stuck just like those games. So you have to consider those as well. I got stuck twice within this game at an area wasn't supposed to get stuck. I had to restart my game. It has lag. I was revived once, and then all of a sudden, my game started to lag out. And I'm pretty sure I saw enemies getting bugged because they couldn't get me on top of a roof while I was capping them off. So they were stuck there, bugged out, and I was able to shoot them. So this game has its share of problems. So that's why I said this is a B plus game. I mean, based on its heart, from what I could tell, even if I'm being nitpicky. I mean, even with being nitpicky because of those issues and stuff, I would say the most this game would ever get is an A minus. But even anything in the A category, and even if it's the lower A's, it's an A for God's sakes. An A means it's stellar quality. Even if it's just breached the boundaries of the B plus into the A minus, means it was able to achieve an A. You know, it was stellar. But this game has too many flaws for it to be breached boundaries to get into the A category. A category means that it's very good, but it's not better than most A games. And it has way too many flaws for it to be in even in an A minus category. This is like a B plus plus game. Like you want to give it an A minus, but you really don't want to give it an A minus. So for right now, to me, I could see this being a B plus to an A minus game. If there's something significant in this game that pisses me off, I would just keep this game at a B plus total or a B. From where I stand right now, this is a B plus game. So I'll continue in the mission. I just said what I had to say with regards to what I've learned. The bugs, the glitches, the lag, and everything else I stated. With all that, this is still like a B plus game. So now investigate this area. This should be a bunker right here. It's an unknown bunker. Also with regards to this game, the prone, I could go into prone. Most games don't even allow you to go into prone. This is beautiful. See, this, like I said, this game has good value, things that are good, and some things that are bad. And not going into prone is necessary because once you go into prone, the enemy can hardly see you, and you'll be able to hide, move around. Moving around in prone is very fluid. It's very good. Switch weapons also when you're in prone. So that's very fluid. Go into crouch as well. You can stand. So it's good. This works out best. It's very good. So originally I was at I said I went back to down to a 4. But now I'm at a 5 because the combat system within game I could aim down sight accuracy, moving of accuracy, go into prone, get up, move around. It's not static. It moves very fluidly. Get a 1. I'm giving the game a 1 just for combat alone, for movement in combat. Not for movement as in moving fluid of the game or switching weapons and so on, but for the ability when you're engaged in combat, aim down sights, switch weapons, and then go into different modes for the various different modes. So I give it a, maybe not a full 1, maybe a 0.5 for the combat system. 0.5 for that. So I'm at 4.5. But I just said with regards to glitches, lag, and the night and day cycle. I stated on the last video, but I didn't state glitches and getting stuck and sometimes lag. So those are factors that I will put into the game as of right now. So that whole 0.5 just went away real quick because of those things, which I didn't consider before. So getting stuck is something that rarely happens, but it does happen. So I won't even consider that because that's something that only happens once in a while. But it still happens. So now I'm at a 4.4. But the lag, that's something that's a big issue. Like if you're in the middle of a heat up battle and all of a sudden you start feeling like you're running in slow motion, molasses, it might take away from the enjoyment of the game. So that's at a minus 0.5 for me, not a full 1, because you can still play, you can still move, and it goes back and forth. It's not like it crashes. So that's a 0.5 for me. So now I was at a 4. Now I'm at a 3.9 now. And then bugs happen every once in a while, but they don't happen all the time. So it's not something that pops up frequently. It pops up every now and again. Now like at a 3.9. Now I'm at like a 3.8. I'll put it like a 3.7. I give it like 2 points, like not like 2 full points, but 2.2 points off of 3.9. So now I'm at a 3.7 because bugs happen more than once, but they rarely happen. You know what? I'll just give it a 3.8. I don't want to make this game seem like it's shitty and stuff, but because it's not. Bugs do happen every now and again, so I went all the way up to a 4.5. Now I'm back down to a 3.8. So it's like I'm always finding something new. However, I don't think I went into, I didn't identify. See, I'll give it a 4 for this. There's so many things in this game. This is why I like this game. There's as many bad things that there are in this game. There's so many good things. When you equip certain certain clothes have plus or minus next to them, like right there. And these things have stats. So clothes have stats. So this game encourages you to find certain things within the world, because the higher stat clothes you get, so the apparel for this game aren't simple things that you put on to look good, or to look different, or to look weird. there are actually things that to help you boost your survival in the game. They have purpose to them, and that to me is in and of itself is a huge advantage in this game over other games where you just wear stuff to look fancy for fancy purpose, but not that big a deal that it would gain a full one. It'll gain a full 0.5. So where I was at a 3.9, with that, um, 3.8. With that, now I'm back up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm back up to um, a 4 or a 4.2. Yeah, 4.2. I'll say about a 4.2. So it keeps going back and forth, man. To be honest with you, because I'll always find something shitty, but then I'll always find something good. Like the emotes are very good and it's very fun, but I already say that towards the first beginning of the game. But I haven't even got towards challenges and assignments yet. But I believe if those challenges and assignments are fun, I would give it 2 full points for that. Which would then bring this game up to um, a 6 or a 7, depending on the fun factor of this game. So to me, an average game that's worth playing, and you have a replay value of 1, it's a game that's 5 and above. If it's 5 and above, it's a game that you could play once or twice, but then you put it aside. But if it's more than 5 or 6, like if 7, 8, 9, and 10 games, any games that's in the 7s and the 8s and the 9s and the 10s, those are games that have a replay value of more than 1 or 2. Like you could play it for more than 2 times and have a good time. So if this game reaches to a replay value of 7 or 8, then I could see this happen like more than 1 replay value. Which means that if a game has more than 1 replay value, 2's company, 3's a crowd, that old saying. If this get up to a replay value of 3, then that means this is a good game, a very good game. So if you get it up to 2, that means this is an average game. So this is a 5 or 6, would be 2's company. I want to get up to replay value of 3. I can see I could play this game more than twice, up to 3 times. To go back over there to revisit the game after beating it the first time and the second time, and just to revisit the game to pique my interest. That'll be 3's company right there. So that will make any game that has a replay value of 3 is automatically a B plus game. If it has a replay value of 1, it's a B average game. A replay value of 2, I'd say is also a B plus game. But anything that's a replay value of 3 goes anything from a B plus to A game. Like if you're literally about to sit your ass down and play this game more than once, it's already a B game. If you're willing to replay it again, it's already a B game. If you're willing to play it again from this beginning more than twice, this falls into an A category, or a B plus to an A minus category. But with all the bugs and glitches and the issues you have, you really can't give this game more than an A minus, regardless of what A replay value it has. I'll be surprised if there are type of mechanics in this game that would knock this up to a B, A plus game. I could see this game being A minus, but between trekking, traveling, and not having a lot of people show up with you, like say randos popping up when they decide to pop up. Unless you have friends, it would be kind of a boring experience. So that's why I said this game can't go beyond a B plus for me. I could see it being an A minus. So what I'll do is I'll investigate this bunker. This is toxic waste, obviously. I wanted to say everything I wanted to say early before getting really heavy into the gameplay, because I want to identify these things in the video prior before I cut my mic. I will be cutting my mic towards the rest of this gameplay. I'm going to be playing this for a while, but I will be cutting my mic in a few minutes. I just needed to state specifically what was wrong with the game and what are the good things about the game since my first playthrough. And that's a lot of stuff I say with regards to the game, to be honest with you. A lot. So originally I started before I played this game, it was at a 3.9, and it went back up to like a 4.5, but then it went back down to like a 3.8, but then it went back up to like 4.2 because I find all the additional things. So it fluctuates because there are always good things you can find, nooks and crannies and great things. Like this game has a lot of great things, you know, even from the map. It has map inventory. Map inventory. Inventory to me is one of the best things. And it doesn't like give you a lot of points within every time you achieve something. You slowly have to gain your points from the support system inside based on your survival, what you want most. Are you gonna be throwing a lot of things? Are you gonna use your survival more important in your combat? So increase speed, which you can aim down sight. You really need to increase the speed for aiming down sight, or you need to reload faster. So it really depends on what you want in game. I like the game that gives you the options, because then you could have tank builds, or you could have support builds, or you could have crowd control builds, or you could have alternative builds, a little bit of everything. So I like that as well. So you see, I never spoke about that either. So now that's good, but that's not great as well to earn it like 5 additional or point 0.5 or a full 1. That's like a good additional thing to have when you want to make builds. That's like an extra point. So I was a 4.2. I give it like a 4.3 now. Just for having the ability to choose that options, that destination you want to go towards the path that you need, and that's good. But from what I could see, like most games will only give you a linear path or give you a linear path and an alternative path. But you can see you can have multiple paths here. So that's like an extra point in order to give a player more enjoyment throughout, a fluidity of the enjoyment for their game, bang for their buck by giving them the options. So now I'm at a 4.3 now, and the increase of isn't something that's given to you. It gives you that difficulty of if you want points, you have to earn it based on your capabilities, or how far you're willing to push yourself. So I could see this being 4.3. I'm going up to a 4.3 now just to have that within the game. So what do I want to give this to? Some certain people will give it a 0.5 extra for this. I'm only giving it a 0.1, so I'm at 4.3. I don't think there's anything big and significant about it to give it a 0.5 or full 1. I mean, I would give it a full 1 to find its own path. Some people will give it a full 1 because you can find your own path. That makes their day. But you know what? You know what? I won't be too picky because I think that extra point, that 2.3 or 4.3, maybe I'm being too picky. So I was at 4.2. I'll give it an extra 5 points. I won't give it a full points. Well, I'll give it an extra 5 points for it just having that in there. Some people will give it a full 1, just having the options to choose what path you could take in building something. Like some people don't even care about night cycles, don't care about visuality. Some people just care about setting up their builds. So I'll give it a 0.5 for that. So now I'm at 4.7. So my internet's looking pretty shitty right now. About to go out. But I'm pretty much said everything I need to say with regards to that. But there's always things you can find within this game. That's the great thing. It's not just stuff you can find in the world, but even in your menus, there are always good things you could find as well. So I'm at 4.7 now. I already spoke about the graphics and how the image look and how the people set up the menus for each of these things as well. So that was stated in the past video. But now I'm at a 4.7 now. And I haven't even beaten all the side quests yet. I got all the collectibles, tutorials, done schematics. I get all the items to wear and stuff. I'm pretty sure there are additional emos as well. And team composition, I haven't really have done any challenge or assignments yet. So assignments, challenges, additional emos to have, or maybe these are just the emos you have, but challenges, assignments, and stuff to wear, outfits with stats, and skill tree, and yeah, and stuff with regards to inventory and how to equip stuff with regards to weapons. Stated all of those in today's video, with the exception to challenges and assignments. I haven't reached those yet, so maybe in the next playthrough I'll do that. But for right now, I'll probably cut my mic. I stated everything I need to state with regards to this game. Now at a 4.7, proper evaluation of this game from my point of view, from my personal thoughts. So this game is almost at a 5 now, almost at the halfway point. I'm pretty sure once I get to the challenges and assignments, I'll easily go up to a 5 average. Or when I get certain type of outfits and I do certain side missions. Yeah, like when I do finish all these side missions and then I go straight for the collectibles. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get something good. But so far, I've been really enjoying this game. I would say this is about an average game. I could see this going up to about 5. Right now, for me, it's at a 4.7. But before this game is over, it'll be at a 5. It'll be at a average game. Now, if the replay value and enjoyment of the game and challenges and everything and assignments are very good, I could see this game being anywhere from a 7 to a 7.5. I can't really see this game being anything beyond an 8. This is a B plus game for me. You know, I can only see this game being a B plus. You know, maybe an 8.5. This is not an A game. This is like a B minus, B plus game. So this game could be an 8 or 8.5 at most. I can't see this game going beyond an 8.5 or 8.7. This is B plus game at best. So I haven't even reached the B plus yet. I'm still in the C plus, the 4s. But I could see it going up to a 5 by being a B5, then going up to a 6 and a 7, being a B plus at about 7, 7 and 8. To me, B pluses are in the 7s and 7 and 8s. So anywhere in 7 going all the way to the 8s, or the 8.5, 8.7, 8.8, those are B pluses. So the late 7s, like 7.9, 7.8, those are B minus, B minus, B minus, and then early 8s are like 8.1, 8.2. Those are B pluses. 8.2, 8.5, 8.6. Actually, B average are about 8.2, 8.5. Well, it's kind of like something in school or something. You know, C's, 7s and 6s, and B's are like 8s. So I could see this being an easy 6 out of 7. This is an easy 6 out of 7. So this is an easy C plus game, or easy 6 game, easy 6-7. It have to be something to raise the stakes for it to be a B plus. And I think I'll get my value in the challenges and assignments for it to be a B plus and replay value. That's the only thing I could think that could make this game a B plus or even a B. Challenges and assignments. This is an average game. This is without the challenges, without the assignments, without the replay value. This is like a C plus game, or a 5 or 6, but nothing beyond a 5 or 6. An average game is a 5 or 6 to me. Anything above has to be 7, 8, 9, 10s. If you reach into the 9 category, your game is exemplary. If you reach in the 8 territory, your game is also exemplary, but it has certain flaws. If your game is below 8, it's good, but it's not exemplary. It has a replay value more than 1 or 2. It's not a replay value that will ever exceed 3. So if you have anything from a 6 to a 7, you have a replay value of 1 or 2. You hit dead center 5 category. Your replay value is probably 1 at most, where you don't play it again after that at all. Now, where I am right now, I'm at 4.7. I see this being a replay value of possible 1 and only 1, or I'll play it and I'll never play it again. But I know that's a lie based on assignments and challenges and random showing up. I know I could replay this game more than once, so I'm already at above probably a 5 once I get towards the end of the game. Let me cover my mic. I already said what I need to say based on everything I've seen. Textures and everything in the worlds, atmosphere, clouds, sun, stars, wind, rain, and the feel of weapons, textures on guns, skins, hair. All of that was stated in the last video. Night cycles, clouds, movement, and everything on land, shadows, shades, lighting effects, flare effects, all that was stated in the past video. This one is more on gameplay and use of gameplay through the menus and everything, and replay value, as well as possible guesstimation of what point I should put this game at based on what it is at. Right now I'm at 4.7, and I know I'll get up to an easy 5. This game is a good game, but it has more than 1 replay value depending on how far with challenges and assignments and how much fun I have before the game is over. So I can see this being an easy 7 or an easy 8, which means the most this game could go is a B+. The most, if you really love this game could go B+. But make no mistake, this is not a B+ game, or A- game. If you really love this type of game, it is. But for the majority of anyone who play a game will tell you this is a B- game. You could get this game up to maybe 8.2, 8.3, but anything that's 8.5 and above is like B+ territory. And this has way too much faults for it to be B+ territory. So it would really have to be you having a fun time with your friends for it to be B+. And I could see it being there, and I would agree with those who have to say B+. But if you go into A category, I would probably think you're a moron. If you go into A category, maybe A-, I could see it, but that would be preferred individuals. And for average gamer and randos, preferred doesn't cut. Like, you don't speak for everyone else. This when I judge a game, it's like I'm seeing it from the point of view of many people, not just myself. So I can see this as being a B+. Hell no, this ain't no A. And as best they can just be an A. Unless I'm preferred type of game for this type of preferred world, which, as I said, is not preferred for everyone. So it's time to cut my mic and play. Everything stated for past 2 videos already stated. I'm going to play this game all the way through and only coming towards the end of the game. When I finish all the side missions and I finish all the main missions, will I now judge the game based on its assignments and challenges. Alright, so so I realized I didn't even eat anything yet. So I'll probably cut this video short. And I'll jump back on an hour later. Yeah, I'm probably cut it short. Gotta eat something. Eat breakfast or even lunch.